Hey y'all, so I know that a lot of you have been anxious for me to make this video and let y'all know what's been going on. Y'all, I had to have some time to process everything. I'm very raw, very emotional, and I'm going to try to get through this video without totally breaking down. I can't promise that I won't have to take a break, but I'm going to do my very best. So let's get into what's going on now. So yesterday, it was kind of a weird day. Okay, just and I have to kind of fill you guys in on all the little things so that you'll kind of understand what what's happening and things like that. Okay. Um. So I'm working and doing some things here at the house, and one of our sons had hurt his back the night before, and he had messaged me and said, "Hey, Mom, can you come and help with the kids so that I can kind of get let my medicine take effect and kind of try to ease off?" Yes, totally. I'll be right there. Give me just a few minutes, and I'll be right on up there. And while I was in the process of talking to him and things like that, Aiden had called his dad on Google Meet and that video chat, and all that. And he brought the phone in here to me, and I invited Joseph and his wife to come down for supper last night, and they were happy to say yes, and that was the plan. Okay, and I noticed something was a little off with him. Okay, I couldn't quite put my finger on it because he wouldn't be still enough in the video for me to. Okay, and I contacted Paps and told him what the plan was. I always let him know if I'm going to be leaving the house or anything like that. And here's where I'm going. Here's what's happening this evening. And he and Joseph had a plan. Paps was going to Joseph's house before coming home from work to help him move something. I don't remember exactly what, but the plan was for Paps to go by there. And I said, well, I'll just meet you there. I'll leave from this son's house and I'll just meet you there. And I said, I need to run into the store and just grab a I needed extra of a couple of things, okay? When, I don't know how you guys are, but I had enough for us, but I wanted to make sure I had extra for them, okay? And he said, no problem, no problem. He said, just come on up. I'll let you know when I'm leaving work, and then you can leave from where you're at, and we'll just meet there. So as the day progressed, Paps called me when he left from work. Hey, I'm leaving. And I said, you know what? I'm exhausted. Okay, I'm exhausted. And he said, well, how about this? How about you going home? You rest for a while. I'll stop by and get whatever it is you need. Just send me a list of what it is that you need. And I'll stop by, I'll grab it, and I'll call you when we're headed that way. Perfect. That sounds amazing to me. With Aiden and I left within 5 minutes of that phone call. And we hadn't made it to our driveway. It's about a 20-minute drive from my son's house to home. And we hadn't pulled in the driveway yet, and Paps was calling me. And he said, hey, I'm at the grocery outlet. He had to pick him up some more of those ice creams. He loves those frozen yogurts. And he said, I just wanted to make sure that you were home. And I said, yeah. He said, okay, I'll call you back here in a minute. I thought, okay, weird. And why is he already there's not enough time for him to do what he needed to do, okay, and already be at the grocery outlet. And it took me a few minutes to put that together, but I thought, oh boy, you know. And he sent me a text message and he said, go somewhere where you can talk privately and call me. Yeah, my heart dropped. So I went to my little hiding place away from Aiden, and I called him, and he said, are you away from Aiden? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, don't worry about cooking supper for everybody tonight. They're not coming. And I said, so I was right about something being off this morning when I talked to him? And he said, well, probably so, yes, but something's happened. He said, I need you to sit down. When I tell you, I started shaking. And I said, okay, what's going on? And he said that when he pulled up to their house, there were 2 or 3 police cars sitting there, and they were looking for Joseph. They had been there a few minutes, and he took off out the back door. He ran from them. My guess is that he had drugs on him, and he didn't want to leave them or put them in the house because, that would jeopardize everybody. And he didn't want them to search him and find them on him because that's extra charges. So he took off. And my guess is that he dumped those drugs in the woods where he was trying to hide. But they found him. And when Paps got up to them, 2 of them were walking him around the corner of the building. And Paps introduced himself. Now, let me say this. This is the first time Paps has ever pulled up on something like that or ever been involved in something like this, okay? And somehow or another, he has always gotten by with barely missing it, or, something's always happened to where he's never been involved in anything like this. And this being his first time, it tore him up, okay? But he introduced himself to the police officers, and, being Joseph's dad, and they asked him if he wanted to talk to Joseph after they put him in the car before they, that car drove off with him. Do you want to talk to him? And Pat said, yeah, of course I do. He still didn't know exactly what was going on. And he asked Joseph, what's going on here? What's happening? And I asked, what Joseph had said. And he said the only thing that he said was that he's got some things that he's got to take care of and that he's sorry. And that's where I lost it. And I said, sorry? He's sorry? Do you know how many times I've heard, I'm sorry? I'm sorry, Mom. It'll never happen again. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll never use again. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll never abandon my child again. I'm sorry doesn't cut it anymore. It doesn't cut it at all. After the car pulled away with Joseph, Paps finally found out what was going on. And apparently, my son decided that it would be a good thing for him to rob a 90-year-old woman and steal her personal checks, some of her personal checks, and proceed to write those personal checks and cash them. His charges are theft of property and financial exploitation of an elderly person, both of which are felonies. And I hope and pray to God that he gets the book thrown at him, and that the other county where he's already on probation, that they revoke that probation and that he has to spend his time there too. Right now, that's my hope. Okay? Right now, that's my hope. I'm having so much trouble deciphering what is bullshit and what is actuality here. Because there's a lot of bullshit to wade through. There's a lot of information that's coming out that was never told to me or Paps or anybody else. And that was just found out this morning during a phone conversation with Joseph's wife. He finally got booked in and everything and made a phone call to her at 1 o'clock this morning. And I told her he need not call me. There will be no money put on any account for any phone calls. I don't want to talk to him. I don't. And she said something about today was visitation day from this time to this time, and I said, I don't care. I will not be visiting. His son will not have a memory of visiting him in jail. So you can tell him that from me also. We will not be there, and we will not be. The hardest part of all this is not letting Aiden see this mess from me or from Paps. Paps and I did talk about it last night, and we made the decision that we would break it down to Aiden on his level. And I told Paps, I said, Aiden has a habit of calling his dad, okay? Just out of the blue, just calling him to check on him. And I did not want him trying to get in touch with him and there not being an answer on the other end, okay? I did not. So we pulled Aiden into the living room, and I wanted Paps here. I wanted Paps to do most of the talking because at that point, I wasn't able to put two words together, much less a sentence, without just absolutely bawling my eyes out. So we pulled Aiden into the living room and we explained to him that um, Dad's not going to be around for a little while. Dad's made some bad choices and now Dad has to take care of them. And you won't be able to call him. He won't be able to call you. And Daddy needs to get this fixed, and he needs to get it fixed quickly. But until then, this is how it's going to be. And Aiden said, "Okay, I got it." He didn't have any questions. He didn't want to hear any more. He was satisfied with what we told him, and he's been fine all day today. So Aiden's doing very well. Okay, very well. Me, however, not so much. I'm struggling, y'all. I'm struggling. And it's not the fact that I don't even know what it is. I really don't. I'm in shock. I'm disappointed. I'm mad as hell. I'm hurt. I'm hurt for the family. This was his wife's grandmother. Okay? So, not only has he done this to all of us, he victimized her grandmother. And he's made it now to where, you know, that family, that part of the family is now looking at her, wondering if she had anything to do with it too. She did not. Okay? She did not. I talked with her and her mother this morning and found out a whole lot of things that's been going on. And I was not included in any of that. Had I known that that was happening, things would have been different a long time ago. But they didn't include me in it. And, they're just trying to survive too. And I've had to come to that realization throughout the day today, not to be mad or upset with them or anything like that. They had to do what they had to do to survive. And, I don't know what's going to happen with all of that at this point. And I told her before I hung up, take this time to take a breath. Take this time to do for yourself, to just rest. He has no bond with the charges that he has. He has no bond. His initial court date is Thursday, so the 25th. And again, I hope that they throw the book at him. I hope that he gets what he deserves for this. And I hope that while he's in there, he will figure some stuff out that he needs to figure out. That's my hope. But I'm not holding any hope, holding any water on that. Okay? I'm not. I don't have any delusions that anything's going to change. I honestly don't. My son's going to die. It'll either be by overdose or it will be at the hands of somebody that he has stolen from. or that he has wronged. And I know that. I know that. I have not slept. I have not been able to eat because my stomach is so wound up in knots. I'm having to put on a brave face for Aiden when all I want to do is just curl up in a ball or scream and cry or something. I have had a massive headache all day from crying. I cooked supper tonight and couldn't hardly eat. I took maybe 2 bites. And again, it's not for the reasons of, oh my God, my baby, my baby, my. That's not it. That's not it. It's the shame of knowing what he did to that grandma. It's the hurt for what he did to that family. It's the embarrassment of the mugshot being thrown everywhere. I have a whole scrapbook full of those, okay? Yeah. If I want a picture of him, I have to hang those on my wall. It's great. It's great. I honestly hope that the county that he has probation through just brings him a new one. I really do. I don't want him out. I don't want him out. I want him to pay for this. I want him to feel this. Like I said, as of right now, we have no plans to speak to him, to communicate with him in any way. That's not an option. The 3 of us, myself, Paps, and Aiden, we've got some healing to do from all this that's coming down and all the information that's trickling out a little at a time. And, just when you think, okay, I've cried all the tears, I'm good, I can chill out for a minute, then something new pops up and it's like, oh, come on. Are you freaking kidding me? And then the floodgates open again. And it's like, I told y'all something changed when he relapsed this last time. I told you something changed. And I prayed that prayer up in my garden. And I never thought I would say those words. But I did. And I am hoping beyond hope that this is God's way of beginning the process of fixing him. I really do. I want my son to have a normal life. I want my son to live happily with a family and be a contributing part to society. That's what I want for him. I want him to be the man that I know he was born to be. This ain't it. This ain't it. This is disgusting. This ain't it. So, if y'all wouldn't mind, continue saying those prayers or sending out good vibes or good juju or whatever it is you may believe in. We're going to need them over these next few weeks, maybe months, maybe years. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, and we won't know anything for a while. I just know that he's sitting in jail, and I hope he stays there. Sounds mean, don't it? Coming from a mama. Sounds real mean coming from a mama. But when you're a mama that has been through what I've been through, and just because I'm not communicating with him or anything like that does not mean that I am walking away from him. It does not mean that I am not still standing behind him, supporting him. And that does not mean that at all. It means that I have taken a few more steps backwards to where that I can breathe for a few minutes. I can breathe and catch my breath and heal to where I can when he is ready to hit the ground running, which God, I hope he does. Okay? I hope he does. Then I can be there cheering him on. I can be. But I'm not. I refuse to put any more money towards him and this addiction. And that includes putting money on his commissary or putting money on a phone card or phone account so that he can call and, try to bullshit his way. No, I'm not doing it. You can call me when you get out and we'll talk then. But until then, don't even bother dialing my number. So, sucks. Addiction sucks. And I will be very blunt with y'all and tell you exactly what I told my other son. I won't say the words, but you'll get the gist of it. F addiction, F drugs. I've effing had it, and I'm not effing taking any effing more of this effing bullshit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done being on this merry-go-round. I want off this ride. Stop. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting our little channel. Y'all, there's so many twists and turns in all of this. I honestly don't know what's going to happen next. I really don't. I really don't. All I can do is just sit here and wait on the next shoe to fall. That's it. That's all I can do. And figure out how I'm going to deal with that when it happens. I've still got a little boy in there to raise, and I've still got to be strong for him, and I've still got to be patient and be loving and be supportive to him. And he is my top priority and always has been, always will be. It's hard to love your addict and to be as supportive and as devastated by them at the same time. As as a mom, you feel like you need to be when you're raising their child. And you're just trying to hold it together for them too. And it's a balance act. And Aiden will win every time on that one. Every single time. Every time. I love each and every one of y'all. And yeah, this is going to be tough, y'all. This is going to be tough. Just got to figure out how I'm going to do it one day at a time. So, love you guys. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.